We will call to order the meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for Thursday, March 22nd, 2015. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Langdon Neal. I'm chairman of the board. See, to my left is Commissioner Marisol Hernandez, and Commissioner Cowan is ill and cannot join us today. First item on the agenda is consideration of the agenda. Commissioner Hernandez, do you have any modifications or changes to the agenda?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then we will move to the approval of the minutes.
There are no minutes?
There are no minutes. So we will then move to the executive director's report, Mr. Goff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to let you know, give you a brief update about early vote. Today at 1 o'clock, we were at 5,272. So early votes, the numbers are just really being thrown up. I mean, they're great numbers. And if you look at the same sites, they're always the ones that we've always seen high, except for the 7th Ward pulled up some high numbers that I just saw. So we're going to send some additional bodies out to 7.
I saw the leader is 41, 41st Ward site.
It is.
That's not usually our.
It's usually, it's up there, but 19 has been
Yeah,
always number one, but it's 41, 19, 18, and 23. So it's just impressive. Just to let the one problem that we had is in site number 18, we've had some issues with campaigns going up inside the 100-foot campaign-free zone. We have warned them. Every time our investigator leaves, they come back. So we've contacted the police department, and we've also written a letter to the state's attorney's office about that site. I asked Mr. Scanlon to write the letter so we could have it on record. We've been asked this Saturday and Sunday, the campaigns are doing a lot of rallies, and we're having one in 22 and a couple in 45 and 41. So we have additional bodies out there. So I feel very comfortable that we're going to be in good shape for Saturday and Sunday. The other item is absentee voting has been going very well, a lot stronger than we thought it would. There are a couple of ballot styles that we're ordering additional ballots to. Ballot style 2, the 2nd Ward, 42, 43, and 44. We've ordered additional ballots. We were running short in some of those. Believe it or not, we've already mailed out 40,000, and we still have another week to go. So this is 40,000. This is incredible.
That's compared to 29,000 in February.
Wow. So, yeah, so we've ordered additional ballots and also envelopes. We are running short on absentee envelopes to send these ballots out on. So we've done that. We should get them in by the 30th, Laura. Thank you so much. And the last item today, I met with Anna Ashcroft today. She wanted to talk to me about our lease at 69 West Washington. I informed Anna that we were happy with the office space. I said I'd like to have some more. She says, well, we want to talk to you about reducing your footprint. And I said it's not going to happen. She says that the Cook County has a new space plan where they're showing office space of 120 square foot per body. And I said, well, when we first started working on this, it was 200. She said, well, we're adopting some new rules. And I said, well, Anna, I'm glad you said that. We will look at it, but for right now, I don't think we could
we have to have
respond.
Unlike most offices, we have to have large public spaces,
Right.
which counts against the overall head count versus square footage. So we need public spaces, which most departments don't have. So I think that should be, definitely pointed out to her.
I did discuss that, and I did discuss that we do have peaks and valleys where we're when we do hearings and other items. like when we're doing our absentee voting and early vote.
Right.
So she listened, she said, okay. I told her that if they wanted to put together the contract and send it to us, I'll review it with our board members and have our general counsel look
But
at it.
what
But the city
about-
pays, I'm sorry,
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but the city pays for the space here, so.
Right. But when is our lease up here?
Next year,
Really?
yeah, it's been that,
I remember just the other day
Yeah.
talking about it.
Right.
we remember moving in. So, yeah. So,
Okay.
but everything seems to be going well. Downstairs in the lower level, it's just incredible how fast it is with the voting, they're moving in and out. I mean, they're doing over 1,000 people every day downstairs.
Wow.
One more question back to mail voting. So I know, is it time to revisit? I know we've spent some time at the post office. Is it time to revisit, making sure when we get close to the election, we're getting, maybe a twice a day delivery or something so that we don't get dumped, on?
The problem is the campaigns that are delivering the ballots to us. I mean, the applications.
I was talking about the voted ballots.
The voted ballots?
Yeah.
We have access to go in and pick up ballots. But Chairman, I have to say that this is probably the worst time that we've had with the post office.
Yes, I recognize that, yeah.
We do need, and right now, I don't see we can meet with the Postmaster General, but we need to sit down with him after this election, because we have samples where we had overnight deliveries that have taken 2 weeks to get there.
Gosh.
And
Yeah.
it's just, it is probably, I know that the post office has been cutting back, but we have felt the brunt of this one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
So-
wondering, in view of the amount of applications that we're processing, whether we need to place a call ourselves or have some of our federal officials place a call for us.
Yes.
But I think we should ratchet it up because, if-
Chairman, in the mail today, we got ballots back from the February election.
so that's kind of what I'm saying. I think we need to be aggressive between now and Election Day.
Okay, you will start sending out letters and let them know.
Yep.
Okay, put them on notice.
Yep, put them on notice, and even a call from, maybe one of our congressmen or something, to a regional person, or, I don't know what to call the postmaster himself, but a regional person, let him know that, how important this is.
We did have an issue once before where we contacted the postmaster directly.
I
and
remember that.
This may be the time to do that.
That's my suggestion.
Okay,
Mhm.
yes, sir.
Okay, anything else from Mr. Goff? All right, we'll go to Ms. Bateman.
I have to echo what Mr. Goff said about space in this building. If you ask our staff, we need more, so
Yeah.
for the building to want us to reduce our size, we always need space.
Well, I think that should really be the conversation with Anna, but we want to talk to you about the opposite. We want to talk to you about how we increase our space.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not authorized to do that.
So, everything's great. The warehouse is working wonderfully. That's all finished now. Just the ESCs are leaving.
Okay.
So they are working on early voting, assisting in early voting where needed. Registration department's doing great, judges department's doing great. IT, I always forget to thank the IT department.
Mhm.
I think because their job goes unseen
Yeah.
sometimes, like they do a great job for us, but,
Mhm.
we don't always see it.
Mhm.
But IT just always just does what's needed to be done, gets it done quickly and effortlessly, it seems. So they're doing a great job as well. Yeah, judges department's good. Absentee, everyone's just, in the short amount of time that we've had to do everything, I'm so happy and amazed that it's just all falling into place.
How about our polling places in terms of, the schools make sure our custodians or our engineers and.
We're gonna have, Jim Allen's been working on
Talking
some
about
of
that.
that for
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
but just to let you know that it has been a hard contacting. We've had more success with the public schools than with the private schools.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had a thing where I think a lot of the polling places weren't counting on having a runoff election.
Yeah, right.
So, in fact, in Wrigleyville, there's 2 locations that's going to interfere with the baseball game, the Cubs game. So
There'll be
it's,
various sites.
yeah, so it's,
And what?
There's a 7 PM game,
On
Cubs,
Tuesday?
yeah, it's not opening night,
Yeah.
but still, there's a 7 o'clock game. It's the second game against the Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be a full house. Fortunately, the game time's at 7 o'clock, so most of the fans should be in the stadium when we're in the business of getting the results in,
Yeah.
and closing up our shop, and getting the results to a receiving station. So, you know, fortunately, it's not a day game that's ending around 6 PM,
Yes.
creating a bunch of traffic
Right,
headaches.
right.
Nonetheless, a nice little, maybe a slight rain around 7 o'clock, 7:30 would help us as far as, you know, fans being on the streets.
Yeah.
Don't want to rain out the game, but,
Right.
you know, nonetheless. But getting back to what Lance was talking about, we're going to be preparing 2 special notices that we're going to be publishing in various newspapers next week. One is about April 4 being the deadline for last-minute registration through the grace period program. We don't want people to get caught with the expectation that there's going to be election day registration when there won't. The second one, we're preparing a special notice, and we want to issue this news release early next week about the 20-plus polling places that, for reasons beyond the board's control, had to change. We don't want to sit on that information because we've done mailings, we're going to post notices at the old polling places, but we also want to get the word out early so that if there's a massive search, did my polling place change, and our website gets hammered, we want that to happen early next week as opposed to late next week and over the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll be publishing that notice in the Sun-Times, the Red Eye, repeatedly, as well as the Chicago Defender, Natick newspapers, and then in the Chinese, Spanish, Polish, and Hindi, or Asian Indian media. Early voting, as Lance mentioned, has been really solid. The news media have been asking for numbers even before we close every night so that they have things for the 5 o'clock broadcast. And it seems like the more they broadcast about it, the bigger the numbers are. So congratulations, Commissioner Hernandez. You had a really successful launch news conference. We got picked up. Registration, we finished off at 1,441,000, so we're up 20,000, or 1.4% from February, up 5.3% since November. So that's it.
Okay. Under old business, we have infrastructure projects and changes in election administration. We aren't going to do any of those between now and the election.
no, Mr. Chairman.
Any issues with the electronic poll books?
All are on schedule,
Are they bringing in the crew again?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Voting equipment, Paige?
Yes.
Anything to report for us today?
Not so much in terms of the equipment. It is with regret, but also a great deal of appreciation for board staff, for everyone here that works here. I've accepted an offer to be a senior project manager for a consulting company, so I will be leaving. This will be my last election. It has been a true honor to serve the board in this capacity for the last 8 years.
8 years? it's
Yes,
been?
I'm
Wow.
so very grateful, and I thank you all. I mean, no better staff. You have a dedicated staff. Gary Resizan, when I first came on board, you know, elections, you can't get a degree in elections. So
Right.
project management wasn't new to me, but elections sure were. And he certainly helped me along, as did Kelly and Lance and all of your staff. So thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Well, we're gonna certainly miss you, Paige, for
Yeah.
sure.
I'll miss you.
Thank
You're
you.
you're like part of the staff, so to speak.
Exactly.
And certainly part of the family. Well, we wish you the best in your new career. Are you staying in the local area?
Local, yeah, we're right around the corner on LaSalle and Madison. And I'd like to send out my contact information and keep in touch with you.
Sure. Are you
Absolutely.
staying in the election industry, or are you?
No, it'll be healthcare. She does have some government contracts too, but it's mostly software implementation.
Oh, good. Well, 8 years in the election business.
You burn out anybody.
I get it. I get
I
it.
think it counts
Thank you,
as 12.
Paige.
Yeah. Look at me and Mr. Goff. You should see the pictures before we got in the election business. Okay. All the best to you, Kelly.
Thank you very much.
To each other. Legislation. Mr. Scanlon isn't here.
He is not here today.
Do you want to report, Joan, on any election-related stuff?
No, I do not.
Okay. We did get a memo from Mr. Scanlon,
Yes.
though, giving us an
Oh,
update
yes.
on election
Yes.
bills. We have some new business, am I correct?
Yes.
We need to consider the removal of two judges of election, Maurice Branch and Pearl Kemp. Joan, do you want to go through that with us?
Sure. Maurice Branch was a judge in 8 of 43 of the 43rd Ward, 8th Precinct, sorry. And on Election Day, we received a report after Election Day from one of the fellow judges where Mr. Branch was witnessed swearing pretty much at everyone. He was asked to kind of keep it down. He didn't. He kept going after the voters. And eventually, this one particular judge was so upset, she called down because she was very much in fear of her physical safety. She had to ask Chicago Police Department officer to escort her to the car. Again, we try to encourage people to call us on Election Day so that we can have these individuals removed, but one of the new clerks down in Judges Enrique did an outstanding job of going back, interviewing everyone, and giving me enough information to ask that he be removed.
Okay.
The second person, this is another new clerk, had an interesting experience with Pearl Kemp. She was serving in 37 of 7. Originally, she had been assigned in 40 of 7, and another person who liked to use profanity, and it was at the Church of Living God. So the pastor was very upset. Because it was not called in on Election Day, she was given another chance, and they went out of their way to reassign her. She agreed to go to the different precinct on election morning, and instead went back to that polling place. And again, instead of them calling immediately to have her removed, we found out after the fact when one of our staff, when the pastor basically said, "That's it, they're not going to be our polling place." But this clerk had gone out of her way to reassign this individual. She had agreed to it, so now we're asking that she be removed permanently.
Okay. Motion to remove permanently Maurice Branch and Pearl Kemp as judges of election.
I'll second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. Is there a legal report, Joan?
There is not a legal report. I did have an opportunity to review. I was not here on the March 12th board meeting, and if not now, perhaps in the future, I would be prepared to respond to certain complaints that were brought before the board, but those individuals aren't present, so if you'd like for me to wait until possibly the next meeting, I can do that as well.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All righty. And we do not have a financial report. And so any other public comment? We don't have anyone else that I think that wants to speak. So there's no need for an executive session, so I'll accept a motion to recess until Our next meeting, which should we make the election day meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, which will be election day, April 7th.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be it.